Okay, Mario once again, and this is the build-up. Basically, the two sides that I built up from the cutouts, as I did in my first video. I showed the cutouts, from just basic 3D printed on 8.5 by 11, and so I have completed the sides, and then I started joining these with carbon rods, and this is the way I assemble my 1S radio control airplanes. And so this, I'm following the same format in a very similar fashion. I've done this. I used to do this in the early 90s when I released this particular style rubber band helicopter for the first time, and in the size that I showed in my other video, which is this one right here. This is the actual size of the rubber powered helicopter that I released in the kit form, and it came with the plan, all the components, and you had to basically build the framework on the plan itself, very much in similar way to the way you build rubber powered airplanes, balsa airplanes, and radio control, even, the balsa airplanes. So it's kind of the similar process, but with a little bit of a twist here, in that I am using carbon rods, for the all the framework. So it keeps the structure very, very lightweight. And I have my own connectors that you see, those white little connectors there that I printed a long time ago when I was using when I was doing the airplanes that you see right there. These are 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter carbon rods on some of them, and that's the way I build all my structures here. And that's actually a Quicksilver style RC Ultralight, very similar to the other one that's somewhere in my here in my office. And so it's done in similar fashion with all these connectors that are 3D printed. These connectors are very, very small, and so that's how the framework is done here with those parts. Now I have yet to complete the front of the or the covers, which are going to go along the perimeter of the helicopter, and so I have to do another printout in yellow, just a basic yellow sheet, and maybe with some of this graphic here for the windows in the front, so that it matches everything here, and the yellow, to complete the rest of the body. But it is tedious work, I will say that, and this is something that I don't I don't do often. And the reason why I did this project is basically because I wanted to bring this back into into view, considering that somebody had taken my original design and was calling it his design. So I decided to, I may as well just bring it out, and while I'm doing that, do another version, a more modern version of that one, because that one that you see there, flew just great, back in the day. This one right here should fly even better in the way that I'm doing it, and because it's also lighter, and I decided to make it smaller just to keep it a little more compact, so that I can also fly this indoors, in my home, and not have to resort to a gymnasium or outdoors when the weather is calm. Thing with rubber powered helicopters is you need a very, very calm day, to fly these things, so that they perform. They have good performance. Otherwise, the wind takes these things all over the place, especially if it's a light helicopter like the ones that I'm building here. I also mentioned in my other video that the way I make these helicopters is I don't employ gears or even flex cables. My flex cable that I developed for some of these freestyle helicopters back in the 90s, because that adds, it's a flex cable. You're talking about either a cable or some kind of means that establishes a curvature, a curvature that needs to flex as the rubber band is unwinding, and so even that, introduces quite a bit of weight, because a cable has to be made from metal, steel. I mean, you can do it from other materials, but steel is the best way to do that. Just a very, very fine strands of that's why they call it flex cable, because they're just very fine strands of wire, or metal wire that's been made into a cable. And so I don't employ that here, and the way I kept my original one is the way that I'm going to keep this one as well here, just to keep it very simple. So my next step is to, like I said, complete the profile of this, the covering, and then do the motor, the motor of the engine, which is the rubber powered assembly and motor mount. And of course, I have to work on the blades. So there's a little bit of more of work of in the computer that I need to do the blades with all the covering, have it all nice and spiffy, color and with all the graphics. And so I'm going to be working on that. But this is a project that this is not something that I would want to do often because it is very, very labor intensive. It's and working with tiny little stuff like that, it takes, you got to have a lot of patience to do this kind of stuff. And so, it's not something that I would want to do on a regular basis. There are people that get are really into the indoor flying and all that stuff, but I'm more into the larger stuff. Over the years, I've kind of switched over to that side because it's just bigger stuff is a lot easier to work with. It's a lot easier to manipulate, the screws and everything. And as we get older, our sight, our ability with our hands. Thank God I'm still able to work with my hands, and I'm still able to see this, with the little assistance of reading glasses. I can see this very clear. But as we get older, our bodies just don't function the same as when we're young. But there are some people that like getting into the really indoor, really ultralight stuff, the little tiny stuff. And so that's my take on this. I just wanted to bring that into the open and the reason for doing this project here. But I need to complete this, and once this is completed, I will do another video, and this will go also into the historical archives of MIA Microflight. This is a project that I'm kind of I'm coming full circle. 35 years after when I released my first rubber powered kits via when I used to sell them through local hobby shops and through model magazines. So just wanted to talk about that, and yeah, so stay tuned for the continuation of this video. I know that I'm talking to a very small crowd of viewers. I mean, I would really appreciate if anybody that's watching this video puts any comments whatsoever. Tell me what you like, what you don't like. I'll even go that far. Be nice. Don't be rude. I've never had any rude comments in my my videos. I think people most people are respectful, and that's the way I like to also be with people. And I ask that if you're going to put any comments, put something put something constructive. Say Mario, I like the way you did this, but can you make this better, or stuff like that. Although this is pretty much said in the way that I approach these things, I'm not going to change that. But if you like it, you like the pilot, you like the way I did that, put it in the comments below. Don't just watch the video and walk away, or at least give me a thumbs up, because that and although I don't like to request these things, my viewers are very, very small, and the reason I'm saying this is because this may seem like I'm talking to myself when I do these videos, and I'm not. I'm putting it out there for maybe not for today, but maybe for future generations. I don't know how long these videos will be there, or even if they'll be there. When I'm gone. So maybe my kids might take this into into another level. I don't know. My kids are not interested in this stuff. They haven't shown at least interest in this type of work that I've been doing. They have their own professions. They have their own lives. They have their own things that they want to do, and that's fine. I respect that. My mom, was a fashion designer, one of the best designers. I would I would add, and I mean, she did stuff and I have so much of her work that she did. I mean, I have a book that if I were to show that book, I think it would raise a lot of eyebrows. Just in the level of work and the level of engineering if I may say that, in the line of work that she did, as a fashion designer and confection. Confection means manufacturing of products, and she was that was her title. She had a master's in fashion design and confection, as it says in the title. And she was really really good. She had to study anatomy. She had to be very precise in understanding the human body, because she was able to do clothing, design clothing for people. Number one, that had they could afford the type of work that she used to do. And uh, and she was really good at it, because she understood the she understood the body, and where she had to adjust to make it look good, even though many people that came to her did not have they had less than perfect or less than average bodies. Yeah, let me put it that way. So, but she was really good, and I'm not saying this to raise my ego, or you know to say that my we're better, or my mom was really really good at it. And so I have to I have to say these things, because a lot of her skills, even though I am not into fashion designs, I have used some of those skills in making my little pilot, the MIA pilot for the radio control stuff that I do. I did the flight suit, understanding also the looking at her books and looking at her work, and how she used to measure and come up with measurements, to create some of these clothing things that she used to do. My video is about to die, so I have to cut this very short. But anyway, so a lot of that stuff, a lot of those skills, I kind of have acquired, from my mom, but also from my dad, because my dad was very, very into mechanical things, and he was very, very good with electronics and stuff like that. So anyway, once again, Mario with MIA Microflight. Stay tuned for the continuation of these videos on this MIA 500 RB rubber powered helicopter. Very unique design here.